welcome to this edition of UCentral News. I'm Jackson Rowbottom.
And I'm Patrick Talbot. Fighting has intensified in Kyiv as Russian forces are trying to create a corridor to block supply routes. Russia continued missile strikes yesterday across many Ukrainian cities. Ukrainian President Zelensky has said he is ready to accept a neutral status as part of a peace deal. Russia could now be looking to split Ukraine in two.
Yes, and with all of the intensity coming from overseas, UCentral's Ben Anderson spoke with UCO students about how they feel about the situation. Here's what he found.
Here at the University of Central Oklahoma, far away from the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, it can be easy to overlook the things going on elsewhere.
I think living in Oklahoma, it's hard to find, receptive opinions. It's just kind of, that's what's going on, and, so.
When going to ask people if they'd be willing to talk, most declined, saying they didn't want to discuss the topic. For those who were willing, they said that they weren't following the situation in Ukraine that closely.
I'm not much of a news guy. I don't really watch TV, so I didn't really hear about it from there. So, yeah, I heard about it initially from Twitter, and then just started asking friends who are much more well-versed on political matters, like global politics. So,
that's not to say, however, that they didn't have any thoughts on the matter. When asked about the United States' involvement, both Taylor Lowell and Gibson had similar opinions.
I believe we should have somewhat involvement, definitely. I think being how we are established is supposed to be one of the more powerful countries. We kind of want to keep our hands in the places in the right place.
Thank you, Ben. And well, the average U.S. price of a gallon of gas has dropped 6 cents over the past 2 weeks. Nationwide, the highest price at the pump is in Los Angeles, while the lowest is right here in Oklahoma at $3.70 per gallon. Regardless, gas prices are $1.42 higher than it was last year. And it feels absolutely amazing outside on campus today.
It is absolutely right. And CJ is going to have more for us. We're also expecting some severe weather. CJ, what can you tell us?
Well, that's right, guys. It definitely has been feeling like a very nice, very warm day here in central Oklahoma today. However, that is going to change very quickly as we start to move throughout this week. As Jackson said, we do have that chance for some severe weather. But for right now, sitting here in Edmond, we're sitting pretty at about 80 degrees under sunny skies, feeling very warm out there here in Edmond today. Winds a little gusty out today, blowing south at about 15 miles per hour. Now, we could see some gusts of about 25 to 30 miles per hour, but those will be isolated gusts. A majority of the wind will stick around 15 miles per hour. The humidity not too high either, sitting about 35%, and it feels like it's 80 degrees outside here in Edmond. So overall, a very nice, very warm, and very beautiful day here in Edmond. However, like Jackson said earlier, that is going to change as we start to move throughout this week. We're going to see some severe storms and that tornado threat as well. So let's go ahead and check out our weather headlines for this week. That warm weather is going to stick around through tomorrow. So tomorrow, that warm weather, it's also going to stick around, but going into tomorrow night, that's when we're going to see that cold front make its way into Oklahoma, and with it, it's going to bring some colder temperatures and some severe storms with it as well. And with those severe storms, we do have a tornado threat as well, so that will include some golf ball size hail, 70+ mile per hour winds, and some isolated tornadoes as well. So we will definitely be watching that very closely and keeping you guys updated. So that's all I have for weather right now. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you very much, CJ. And guess what? The UCO Liberal Arts Symposium is back, and the event will be held both in person and in virtual formats this Wednesday, and this year's theme is Modern Mosaic, and you can attend several of the presentations created by UCO students.
And speaking of the Liberal Arts Symposium, UCentral's Jonathan Richardson has more on this event. Take a look.
Thank you. And this year's Liberal Arts Symposium is themed for Modern Mosaic. And now that might be a clash of two different titles, but the students here in the Liberal Arts building have put together a very nice symposium this year. And it's going to highlight stuff of ancient philosophy, dark environmentalism, and even other topics of gender, race, class, and media. Now, the students will be able to be out and to go to this symposium in the Liberal Arts building from 9 to 3 p.m. on that Wednesday. So if you do get a chance to dismiss from class, please check out this symposium. It's going to be a lot of speakers and even professors in this liberal arts college that are going to be presenting themselves as well with video presentations, poster presentations. It's going to be something for everyone that's a liberal arts student. And even if you're not, please come check it out. I'm Jonathan Richardson, Edmond, Oklahoma, UCentral News.
Thank you for that information, Jonathan. And also, the UCO Asian American Student Association will be hosting a series of events to celebrate Asian Heritage Month this April. AASA is a student-run organization, and there will be a kickoff event from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. April 1st in the Constitution Hall.
And the Office of Diversity and Inclusion and the Women's Outreach Center will host the Exceptional Women's Brunch. There will be an opportunity to hear from the event's keynote speaker, Annie Bowles, founder of Sugar Free Media. This event will be held this Wednesday at 11 a.m. in the Nye University Center Heritage Room.
And another interesting event happening, the Belle Isle Library will be hosting a 3-day celebration for their reopening. Festivities begin on Friday, April 8th with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. And other activities will include concerts, tours, a photo booth, and more. And will last through April 11th, and the community in its entirety is invited. They hope to see you there.
And many schools are coming back to full capacity after the pandemic. UCentral CJ Craig has the story.
With less and less COVID cases in the United States, many school districts are going back to traditional learning methods, including some schools here in the metro. Choctaw High School is just one Oklahoma school making its way back into the classroom, and this means that teachers will finally get a break from the struggles of distance learning.
When we first started out, we had like a blue and gold system, so we had half our students in class and half at home, and we only saw them 2 days a week, and so that was kind of challenging.
We had like half of the alphabet one day, the other half the next day, and since we're so much into we have to be here, they don't have this equipment at home, it made it very challenging.
With mask mandates and social distancing guidelines in place, teachers had to learn to adapt to the new methods, which was a challenge for many teachers still trying to deliver a quality education.
Because I like to do a lot of group work, and we were having to sit 6 feet apart, and so that's kind of difficult.
You know, there's some kids that need to be in person to person, and it's difficult to do it just from a computer screen, and they need that extra, you know, am I doing this right, versus you're on your own, now just turn it in.
However, many schools across the nation are dropping their mandates due to the drop in COVID cases, and this means that teachers can get back to teaching their way, and this means a more engaging class for their students.
So I have more kids than I have equipment, so it makes it very difficult to keep everybody engaged at all the time because of the numbers. And I know other classes are in the same boat where they got 34 kids in a math class or 35 kids in a class, and you know, that's just too many kids to try to teach all at once.
Distance learning did, however, introduce new ways of learning, which can be beneficial for both teachers as well as students.
I think a blend of traditional and a more modern technique is going to be helpful. I feel like putting work online has helped kids transition to college because so much of that is online, so I think it's good for seniors.
Teachers can just put stuff up online more so than they did in the past, probably now that they're used to it, and you know, everybody just goes there to get all their stuff. You know, a test, I know now most teachers, if they got a test that they're going to put up, they just throw it up online and tell the kids, okay, the test is up there, it's active.
From Choctaw, Oklahoma, I'm CJ Craig, UCentral News.
Thank you very much, CJ. And when we come back, Chris Rock gets slapped by Will Smith, and more weather coming your way. Don't go anywhere.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision... Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah! Invent...
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
In the land of wonder and awe, you won't believe you see what you saw. Where there's something to do for young and for old, where stories are written and then they're retold. Visit travelok.com today. Come see for yourself and come out to play.
Welcome back to UCentral News. The 94th Academy Awards were last night, and it was certainly one to remember. Will Smith got on stage and slapped Chris Rock after he made a joke about Jada Smith. He was later yelling from the audience for Rock to keep Jada's name out of his mouth. Smith went on to win the Oscar for Best Actor, and later on, Coda, or Child of a Deaf Adult, won Best Picture. Yeah, last night's Oscars were certainly one to remember, and it's going to be quite an event later this week with some of the weather we're expected to get.
That is very true, and we're starting to see those warmer temperatures creep in, and we're going to take it over to CJ, who has more on the weather.
Well, that's right, you guys. The past couple of days here in Oklahoma definitely have been a change from what we were used to the past couple of months. It has been warm, very sunny, and very windy as well. However, that will be coming to an end very soon later this week. However, for the time being, we can expect that warm weather to last through tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to see the highs, that warmth start to stick around. But coming into later this week, that's when that cold front is going to bring that storm with it, that storm front. And with that storm front, that's also going to have the chance for some severe storms, some hail, and some tornadoes as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at current conditions around the state of Oklahoma right now. And as you can see right here, feeling very warm for a majority of the state. Around most of the state, sitting at about 70, high 70s. Some parts of the state, Guymon, Altus, Lawton, and Ardmore, y'all are sitting there at the 80-degree mark. So definitely feeling like a very warm day around the state here in Oklahoma. Let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's lows for here in Edmond, Oklahoma. It's sitting at about 65 degrees. So very warm for what we're used to for our lows around here. It's going to be mostly cloudy, and those winds, however, aren't going to die down. They're going to stick around through the night with some south winds blowing at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. The humidity is also going to rise just a little bit, going up to 50%, and that rain chance is going to remain at 0 for tonight. However, tomorrow night, that's a different story. So let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's lows for around the state, and it's a bunch of the same story. As you can see, sitting at about the mid-60s, high 50 range, Guymon being one of the only outliers there, 52 degrees, Miami 54, Tulsa and OKC 60 and 64 respectively. So overall, pretty warm for what we're used to for lows here in the state of Oklahoma. Let's go ahead and take a look at tomorrow's highs as well. And as you can see, that warmth is going to stick around. Altus down there at 87 degrees for their high tomorrow. So they're feeling pretty warm down in southern Oklahoma. But for the majority of the state, high 70s, low 80s. So very warm, very sunny out tomorrow. However, that is going to change with that storm front coming in later this week. Let's take a look at our daily forecast for tomorrow, 7 a.m. for your drive to work. It's going to be a nice, cool 64 degrees under sunny skies. So you might want to grab a jacket or something to put on. So it is going to be just a little bit chilly. But however, as we go throughout the day, that temperature is going to steadily rise. Noon, it's going to be about 71 degrees. And then at 7 p.m. is when we're going to hit our peak of temperature for the day, sitting at about 80 degrees tomorrow. Let's go ahead and take a look at our 7-day forecast right now. And as you can see, going into tomorrow, 80 degrees being our high for tomorrow. And then you can see that stiff drop coming Tuesday night and Wednesday with an 80% chance of rain, 60-degree high. And that cold weather is going to stick around for the rest of the week. As you can see, our temps are going to drop pretty drastically to what we're used to going into next week. And then on Friday, we also have a chance for some more isolated storms as another system is going to make its way through. That system, however, is only a 50% chance of rain. And then going into the weekend, that's when the temperatures are going to slowly start climbing back up to what we're used to. So guys, overall, it's going to be a pretty wild weather week here in Oklahoma. So stay tuned to UCentral. We'll keep you updated. That's all I have for weather right now. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, CJ. And after the break, the Central Music Scene will update you on the latest music news. Stay with us.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Hello, welcome to the Central Music Scene. I'm Tyler Lurch, and I've been a musician for over 10 years, and I'm also involved with the local music scene here in OKC with my own band, Tar Creek. I'll be bringing you all the latest news concerning artists, shows, releases, as well as national music news. Let's get into it. On Friday, March 25th, Foo Fighters drummer and vocalist Taylor Hawkins died. Hawkins is one of the most notable drummers of the late 90s to today, having played with Alanis Morissette initially before joining the Foo Fighters, his own solo project, as well as his cover band, Chevy Metal. Artists from all over the world have expressed their feelings of grief toward Taylor Hawkins' death, such as Lars Ulrich, Elton John, and Miley Cyrus. Following his death, the Foo Fighters released their own statement saying, "The Foo Fighters family is devastated by the tragic and untimely loss of our beloved Taylor Hawkins. His musical spirit and infectious laughter will live on with all of us forever." Taylor Hawkins is one of my biggest inspirations when becoming a musician, as well as a drummer. His love for life, music, as well as his energy were infectious both as a fan and a fellow musician. No official autopsy has been released yet, and he's survived by his wife Allison and 3 children. Second for today, Weezer has released their latest EP, titled Seasons Spring. The EP was released on March 19th and seems to be a new step for Weezer, with a combination on post-grunge and folk song writing. If you'd like to check out the EP, it's available on all streaming services right now. And finally for today, Machine Gun Kelly has released his second pop-punk album, titled Mainstream Sellout. The album was released on March 25th and features multiple guests from different genres, such as Lil Wayne, Black Bear, Bring Me the Horizon, Willow, and Ian Dior. If you'd like to check out the album, it's available on all streaming services right now. Well, that's all I have for today. Be sure to check in on Wednesday for this week's lineup of shows around OKC, as well as more music news. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, and we're going to toss it to Peyton Scott after the break for your UCentral Sports Update.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds allowed to take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back, Bronco fans. I'm Peyton Scott, and this year's sports update. Do you hear that? Yes, that's the sound of pads popping. I got the chance to catch up with new head coach Adam Dorrell and talk to him about what to expect from an Adam Dorrell-led football program.
The UCO Broncos had their first week of spring practice last week and the first practices of the Adam Dorrell era of UCO football.
One of the things that's difficult when you take over a program, you're not sure what to expect, good, bad, or indifferent, and we've just been really pleased with our current roster, and that's, through our first recruiting class. We thought we had an excellent recruiting class. I've been very impressed with the young men that are in the program that we took over. There's just, that you can really feel from them that they want to be great.
There will be a new look to this UCO Bronco football team in 2022, Coach Dorrell says.
One of the things on offense, we're a pro-style offense, wide zone, a lot of movement, three-step, but we want to be really, really balanced on offense. I think that's something you'll see. Defensively, we've gone from an even front to an odd front. That's something I think, the fan that's not just the casual fan that follows it a lot, I think we'll see a big difference there on defense and just the overall schematics. And then, honestly, the big thing is we're trying to be very intentional about special teams. It's one of the things, if you look at, was a little bit of a bugaboo for UCO last year, and some really close game. They gave up some big special teams plays, and so we've really tried to educate our guys.
From Chad Richardson Stadium, I'm Peyton Scott, UCentral Sports.
On to the baseball diamonds. Central Oklahoma dropped their series finale against Newman Sunday, falling 3-1 in an MIAA matchup. The Broncos went 1-2 against the Jets over the weekend. Central only managed 4 hits on Sunday. The Broncos got 2 of those hits from leadoff hitter Jaden Parsons. This sophomore shortstop from British Columbia, Canada, went 2 for 3 with a pair of doubles for UCO. UCO, now 16-12 on the season overall, dropped to 9-7 in MIAA play. Central Oklahoma will return to the field in the series against Northeastern State on Tuesday. The Broncos will follow that with a 3-game MIAA series at Pittsburgh State next weekend. On Saturday over the weekend, Shayla Harper's run-scoring single in the 5th inning and Michaela Rutland's unassisted double in the 7th inning helped the number 19th ranked Broncos in a nail-biting 5-4 second game win over the Missouri Western Saturday afternoon. The Lady Broncos bounced back from a 3-2 first game loss, its first in 18 games this season at Gary Pinkston Stadium, to earn a split in MIAA doubleheader. The defending champions are now 28-6 overall and 7-1 in league play. The Broncos don't play until hosting league foe Newman next Saturday for a doubleheader. Kyrie Irving made his home debut for the Brooklyn Nets Sunday night. It was the 75th game of the Nets season. Irving spent the bulk of this season held out of home games in New York City because of a vaccine mandate that was recently reworked so that unvaccinated athletes could participate in competition. Irving had 16 points, shooting 6 for 22 from the field. That's all the sports I have for today. Don't forget to check out broncosports.com for everything UCO athletics. Back to Patrick and Jackson at the desk.
Thanks, Peyton, and I'm really excited to see what Coach Dorrell can get going for us, but that's all the time we have for sports. Stick around because we'll take a look at weather with CJ one more time after the break.
the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
And welcome back to UCentral Media. The UCO Student Programming Board has been busy planning events for the upcoming week. Free camel rides will be available for students this Wednesday and will take place on Buddy's Lawn from 2 to 4 p.m. For more information, visit the UCO SPB Instagram or email se@uco.edu. And coming up, we've got more weather with CJ. We're going to take a look at that right now. CJ, what do you have for us for final weather?
Well, that's right, Jackson. It definitely has been a very warm week for us here in Oklahoma, which was very much appreciated. However, that is going to quickly change. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast one last time here really quick. As you can see, going into Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, that's when we're going to see that storm front make its way into the state. And with it, that's going to bring some severe storms and some colder temperatures with it. And those colder temperatures are going to stick around throughout a majority of the week. We do also have another chance for storms on Friday. However, that is a less of a chance than the one we are going to have on Wednesday. And then going into the weekend, we are going to start to seeing some more normal temperatures for this time of year on Sunday, with our high being 68, close to 70, close to getting back to that warmth. So guys, definitely keep an eye out on the weather this week. I know we will be here at UCentral. We'll be keeping you updated. Guys, that's all I have for weather right now. Back to the desk.
Thanks, CJ. And yeah, definitely keep an eye out for that severe weather. I know we're going to keep you covered like CJ just mentioned, and stay tuned with your other stations as well. But hopefully those storms bring in a lot of rain, because I know the farmers need it, some of our yards need it and stuff like that. So
that's very true, and hopefully the warm weather stays a little bit longer, because
sure.
You and I talk about golfing all the time.
Yeah.
It's golfing season, it's golfing weather. It's time to get out there. But that's all the time we have for you today. I'm Jackson Rowbottom.
I'm Patrick Talbot. Thanks for joining us on this edition of UCentral News. We'll see you tomorrow at 4:30. Stay safe, Broncos.